Okay, so first of all, I want to appreciate the leadership for giving me the opportunity to share with us on this topic, work-life balance. It's something I'm sure we can all relate to, but then I will be coning down to the medical and family perspective of work-life balance, and that's what our theme is for this retreat. So by God's grace, I'll do my best, and then it's going to be interactive because it's about us, it's about you, it's about me. I have my experiences, you have your experiences, and we're going to share for the benefit of everyone now and in the future. My name is West. Listening to the preaching earlier, it's kind of, started the conversation already. It makes sense that we need to talk about the now before we begin to talk about the future. Talk about the now before we talk about retirement. Because when you retire, most of your memories are already what is happening now. So while we expect others to come, I'll just do an icebreaker here for all of us. So I work in a hospital. I work on the medical wards. And when we see ill persons, sick persons come to us, especially the older ones, where we would eventually get to by God's grace, God giving us grace to live till that time. Some come down with several health conditions that are too much for them. I'm sure most of us in the health sector, we see them, we take care of them. It gets to the point where we need to have a discussion with them and their families about what they want. Some that have plans ahead of time could tell you what their advanced wishes are. They could tell you what they want their life to be when they are in the condition where they can make choices for themselves. Some don't have that discussions already. So we have to come to the time where we know treating them might not be the best option. If you want to do some invasive investigations, you're just putting them through some level of discomfort. But we also have the chance, the option of saying there is no need for this invasive investigation. There is no need for this significant treatment, putting you through surgery, putting you to sleep. The anesthetist might say, okay, the lungs of this person is now too old to come back from the anesthesia, so let's not even bother doing that. The doctors, the surgeon might be like, okay, if I go into this patient's body, what I will see I might not like, so let's just leave it. Let this person have a better quality of life now that they want to die or they are approaching the end of their life than to subject them to those things. Now, there are different kinds of patients. There are the patients who will tell you, no, doctor, please, I need all the active treatments that I can get because I have not enjoyed my life enough. Then there are others that will tell you, come on, don't put me through that. I've had a good life. They throw it at your face. So we Africans are not used to these things back home. It's difficult to tell relatives that, okay, your mom or your dad is dying, even for us doctors. But coming here, it's different because they know it. Because they know a time will come for this, they do their best to take care of themselves when they're younger. Okay? So those ones will tell you, no need. I don't want to go through surgery. I don't want chemotherapy for cancer because of the side effects of chemotherapy. I have had a good life. I have children. I've seen my grandchildren. They're all always around me. I've been everywhere. I've traveled. I have this number of houses, or even if it's one. I have pets. They've done the things that they wish. Their rich life has been fulfilled. So when it comes to that time for that discussion, they tell you, no, nothing more. I'm okay like this. I'd rather die now, like haven't enjoyed. I don't want those invasive treatments. So there are two options. So where are we going to be going forward? We want that kind of death, trust me. That's a peaceful death, comfortable death when you're old. But when you look back, do you have those memories that will make you tell your doctor, come on, I've had a good life? It's difficult because there are many reasons why we came to this country here, living Africa the way it is, and then we came here to hustle. So going back, I came post-COVID, pre-COVID, or during the COVID era. The information we got from Africa is that most of the doctors or health workers that died are Africans. Why? Because we need to take those shifts that nobody wants to take. Because the salary for those periods is better, so we hustle more, and we expose ourselves to these kind of diseases that kill us. So we know why we're here. It's difficult, trust me. But is it worth it? While we're expecting others, I'll say something else again before we go into this. Are there people in the finance sector here? Anyone in the finance sector? Are there investors here? Do you invest, like buy stocks, trade? Yeah, so I came across something about finance. They call it the 50-30-20 rule. For those people that want to invest for your future. So your 50% of your salary monthly, they say, is a universal rule. I've listened to many people. 50% of your salary per month should be for your needs, your house rent, your light bill, electricity, internet. Then 30% of your salary per month should be for yourself. They call it your rich life. So your desires, your wishes, your fantasies, things you looked forward to have or experience growing up, that 30% of your salary should be for that. It's called the guilt-free spending. So if you have your 30%, you walk into M&S, anywhere, buy something within your 30%. It's your wants. Yeah? You shouldn't feel guilty spending it. Then 20% for what you should save and invest of your monthly salary. Okay. Imagine. Now, most people do this for tomorrow, save, invest for tomorrow. So when you retire, you have something coming in. But then, if you don't enjoy your rich life now that you can, when you get old and they ask you that question, have you thought about your future plans? When you're dying, what do you want to do? Do you want us to jump on your chest and begin to compress if your heart stops beating? You tell them, please jump. Why? Because you've not enjoyed your rich life. Are we together? So this whole discussion or this whole retreat is for the family and it's for the now. So if you have your 30% set aside, you can decide to do your rich life every day within your 30%, every week within your 30%, every month within your 30%. If you want to enjoy that rich life once in 6 months, save your 30% and do something big, guilt-free. Now, if you do that, of course, your 50%, you're using it for the right thing. Your 20% must be saved for the future. Okay? So this is just me deviating and waiting for others. But that's more like an icebreaker. So while we have this in the back of our mind, we will go further. Amen? Now, work-life balance. The medical and family perspective. I got some statistics from the internet. It's recent, updated March this year, recognized by BBC, recognized by Forbes, The Guardian. So it's recent. And they said in the UK employers work an average of 42 hours per week. Anybody working more than these hours per week? No, it's going to be interactive. Anybody working more than? Please, working more than 42 hours per week. Anyone? I do more. Significantly more. I do significantly more than this. Workplace. Of course, ministry is work. Think about it. But yeah, ministry is work. It's significantly more. Okay. Now the chart by my left, by the left, says this is the average, employee weekly hours, working hours per country, and then UK is the highest average in Europe. Okay. That's 42. France has like 39. There are some of us that do 39. Not because we want to, but because you can't do anything else as per your COS. Isn't it? Yeah, so, but if you had the chance to, you will do more. Why? Because you have to pay your bills. It's clear. If you're planning to do ILR or the citizenship stuff for your children, you need significant money to do that. So you have to work. That's why it's difficult, especially for us that don't have the holiday mindset from Africa. These guys here go to holidays a lot. If you want to take leave for the weekend, they ask you, where are you going to? We don't have that plan. I take my leave maybe because of childcare. But they don't. So they know why. We've come to be like them here, so we need to learn from them as well. Okay, just a few statistics, crowded slides, but bear with me, just these few ones. So we know from the study as well, people between the ages of 24 to 44 years old are twice as likely to prioritize work-life balance over their salary than those between 18 to 24-year-olds. So the younger you are, you want to hustle. But the older you get, the salary becomes the secondary thing. Work-life balance becomes the primary thing for several reasons. One, your family. One, your health. Right. So 1 in 3 people feel they do not have a good work-life balance. So you know how studies go. They use a collection of people to do a study and they make inference to the whole community. So 3 of you now, 1 person, be sincere and be honest. Which of you do not have a good work-life balance? You do. So if he doesn't talk, he will not talk. But this is the study, and it is true. Okay? There are several reasons why we think of work all the time, yeah? Are we, UK staff, working outside our usual hours? In many ways, maybe you don't know yet, but you will. Working outside your regular work hours is almost a guaranteed method of tipping your work-life balance in the wrong direction. So how many of us are guilty of doing this? 43% of us admit to regularly working unpaid overtime. Almost 2/3 of employers, 64%, feel pressure to be constantly contactable for work via digital devices. Your home, a message comes from work. Especially those messages that come after your working hours. That tells you, okay, there's a problem, but they are investigating it. Your weekend is gone. Because you can't do anything else until that problem is sorted on Monday morning. You shouldn't get those mails. Some people don't open their work emails when they're on holiday. You can't even call them. Right? So we know how we work after the weekend. We come to work on Monday. One of my colleagues worked on Sunday night and was leaving, but he was alone on the ward. So he made a summary of all the patients he's seen, the plans and everything. He wanted to hand over to the next person on Monday to just know this is how far we've come with the patients. He had good intention. So he sent that stuff via digital device to the person resuming on Monday. She's British. That's her off time. I'm resuming work 8 a.m. the next morning. You shouldn't do that. She called him and ran him down, like, you shouldn't do this. This is wrong ethically. Because she knew her off time is for off things, not work things. For instance, she sees on that list on a Sunday night when she's supposed to go to a party that the patient is very sick, nursing 7 or 8 or 9. Now she's thinking, I'm going to be alone on Monday on that ward. How am I going to cope? You spoil the rest of her night. Okay. Spending quality time with family and friends is an important aspect of our lives, and work-life balance can have a huge impact on our ability to do so. 60% of UK employees claim that poor work-life balance has a negative effect on their relationships at home. UK workers spend an average of 9 hours per weekday working, compared to just 3.5 hours per weekday with their families. Who can relate? But then this is the essence of this gathering, isn't it? Can I ask a question? I'm not a pastor, sir. Your personality today, the way you are today, do you want your children to be like you or even better than you? Like, you have the option from you now and even better. Do you want that for your children? What made you who you are today is part of it, not your upbringing. Now relate when you were a child. I don't know if you were born here or back home, but relate when you were a child. If your parents are not there, the older ones are there. If they are not there, there's a community around you, even in church. Do they have it here? That tells the story. So it is real. So we're not here for ourselves alone. The pastor says something today, that even if he doesn't get what he wants, a blessing that is due him does not come to him now. It will not pass his children. So that is the one he's asking from God. The one that when you are dedicating your child to God, when you gave birth to them, the pastor asked you, will you train up this child the way he should go? And you said, yes, sir. But the reality now, are you doing that? We don't even meet that 3.5 hours per day. Someone is chuckling there. That's reality. Yeah, because you come back from work, you're tired. And then they want to go to bed for school the next day. And they just want to spend that 5 minutes with you. But you have things you need to finish on your phone. Maybe work-related, maybe something else. Some of us that love social media. Some of us that love Chelsea. We want to see what is happening. And then you're on your phone. Instead of spending that 3.5 hours with them, we don't even. That is an average, but most of us, I can tell, especially from Africa, fall below 3.5. True or false? And we want them to be like us, or even better in terms of our personality. Genetics, of course, environment, upbringing, experiences, And of course, peer group and cultural norms, social norms make up who you are today. Now, let me shake the table now. The last line, 9 shift workers are 33% more likely to suffer depression than those working regular 9 to 5 hours. Is that not 33% like 1/3, isn't it? Now, some people that say, okay, thank God I'm working from home. I want to ask one person that works from home. Do you sometimes feel like when you're working from home, you need to double your productivity? Because you feel like I'm home, I'm relaxing. They will think I'm not doing anything. Let me do more. So while those working at nights have their own, you're also giving yourself extra pressure. Almost 100%, let me use that word, let me not say 88. Almost 100% of UK employees, us, have experienced burnout in the last 2 years. A state of physical and emotional exhaustion, we're going to talk about this, caused by working in a physically or emotionally draining role for long periods of time. Okay, see the productive stuff I mentioned about people working from home, almost 1/3 as well. So let's talk. Interactive now. What is work-life balance? So just to introduce, it's not about how much time you give to work being equal to how much time you give to your family. It's about how you feel. Do you feel fulfilled outside work? Are you in control of your work life and also in control of your personal life? So if you feel fulfilled, if you feel like you're in control of these two aspects, then you have a good work-life balance. But having exposed, most of these things, do you actually feel fulfilled? Because from your reaction, obviously, our children don't get the better of us the way we got of our parents. So guilt. The essence of this for me is not just to teach. It's about change of mindset. So if one person gets a change of mindset here and goes home and have a clear discussion with their other partner, we need to make a difference. We need to make a change from what we're used to for the now. And of course, for the future, we'll find out. Why is this a medical issue? Okay? There's what we call the stress hormone, cortisol. So in times of stress, it goes up. in times of chronic stress, it stays high up. There is something we call adrenaline. When there is an acute threat, your adrenaline pumps. It's called adrenaline rush. If you're on the road and there is some maybe riots back in Africa, you're driving, and all of a sudden people are reversing from the front because robbers are in front. Then you see adrenaline rush. It's like your wife wants to open the door and run. Then you're thinking of how to reverse the car and drive back. Everybody's adrenaline goes up. Your cortisol level goes up. When I first came to the country, as I work 1 week on, 1 week off. So towards the end of my off week, Friday, I'm anxious. That's when the stress starts. My cortisol is up. And then, peradventure, I read on Monday, and the consultant I'm working with is not the wonderful type in terms of interpersonal relationship. The week is finished for me. So your stress level, cortisol level stays high. Now, this impacts both us physically and, of course, mentally, which is even more important. Both of these things can lead to very serious health conditions going forward. So I mentioned earlier, adrenaline rush. That's the fight or flight response, the physiology of stress. So you're coming back from the farm, you see a lion, you just run. Okay? I like telling stories. I have an uncle back home. In front of my house is a very big playground. At the back, there's a very big farm with a walkway, narrow walkway, to the next compound where we go to buy stuff sometimes. So he was going to buy something, and I followed behind. He didn't know at night. And I entered the plantation, small plantation. On his way back, he was whistling. And I grabbed some plantains around me in the middle of the night, very thick night, and I shook it, making this noise. What was his response? Some will run. Some will stay and fight. And then you see people that watch a lot of Jackie Chan. That's what he was saying. He's older than me. He wanted to fight what was coming. And he was doing all the snake in the monkey shadow stuff in that millisecond. Of course, he returned the favor later on. I won't tell my story. Okay. So, this is what happens. But imagine in times of chronic stress, your fight or flight response is constantly on. Constantly on. So we go to work, we do all these things at work, we come back home, we don't cut off. We don't have a boundary when you should leave the work things and face the house things or the personal things. And then it's always on. What does it do? It leads to inflammation all around the body and, of course, other issues. And it affects all these systems. Okay? One of the follow-through of high cortisol is blood pressure. Okay? And once your blood pressure goes up, of course, it translates to other aspects of your body, especially your heart, including the heart attack. And we know it is increasing now, how young people just slump and die. We hear stories, even Africans. Yeah, it's very common. And then we've heard stories, oh, he just left Nigeria with a wife, with 1 or 2 kids. This is his first week, second week. Of course, he's trying to impress. Or maybe the stress, not physical stress. From those from Africa, you know you're already built for physical stress. But then the mental stress that comes with culture shock and everything. You want to do more. They slump and they die. Constant stress. Flight and fight response always on. Cortisol high over a period of time. So work-life balance, not about, or burnout, it's not about doing those physical jobs. It's also doing it for a long time. Your immune system gets weak. High cortisol reduces the immune system. You're exposed to several infections, different kinds of infection. And this is what we expose ourselves to every day if we don't make changes today. Your metabolism either slows down or begins to run too fast. You don't eat well. You begin to come down with ulcer and all those indigestion. Things you don't normally experience back home, you come here, begin to come up, and then you're wondering what's going on. You eat food on the go, okay? Things your tummy is not used to. Why? Because you have to make ends meet. It's difficult. That's why I'm not just preaching for us too. It's difficult. We have to put food on the table. We have to pay bills. You don't have low back pain before you came here. But because you have to lift for a long period of time, low back pain comes as young as you are. And then you're saving money for the future, retirement. But that time comes, you can't do the things you want to do because your back can't carry you. And then when the doctor comes with that question, should we jump on your chest? You're thinking. Well, that's how we put, because I will do CPR, isn't it? It's difficult. Headaches, body pains, things we don't normally experience. That's the physical effect. And it's also got a mental, psychological effect on us as well. And the studies have shown us, of course, I think I skipped that line, but a certain percentage, if not 50% of fathers think that the imbalance, the work and personal life, has led to about 50% have severe depression. It starts with anxiety, like I mentioned. So if I'm not a type that could cope, every weekend that I'm supposed to resume work, anxiety comes. Over time, the effects of burnout, which we're going to talk about too. And then we begin to, tip into depression, anxiety disorders, impaired memory. Before now, you see someone, you talk to someone now, I see you tomorrow, I could tell your name, I could describe, but now, because of the other stuff about life, I see you now, I see you tomorrow, I'm wondering where I met you. Yeah, impaired memory. You can't concentrate. You see yourself. Normally, you will come back from work and your children run to you and you play. But because of the stress of the day, they come to you, you're shouting. And your child will ask the other one, why is mommy grumpy? They don't understand. But it's in your hand. You can do something about it. Okay? Your decision making, it becomes not normal. Before now, something goes wrong in the house, an emergency, you can comport yourself and make decisions. Okay, someone is sick. You can put yourself together and make decisions. But now, there's a shout upstairs. Your wife is asking, what should we do? You don't even know what to do because you're not there. You've been drained, burnout. And of course, very important, relationships. So the children are not here. I listened to a message long ago. The pastor was preaching, I think one of the wedding messages. Of course, your spouse is your primary responsibility before even the work. So you cannot go, and it was a lady preaching. You cannot go to work and come back tired and exhausted to the point when your husband needs you and you tell him you're tired. And it happens not once, not twice. Then you realize you need to make a change. Because, God forbid, something we don't want is being exposed to temptations that you cannot bear as per the other partner. Right? It's bigger than we're just saying. Okay? And of course, we can't overemphasize the effect on children. My dad carries me on his neck. I can tell my story, childhood, for a very long time. We'll get tired. Do I give my kids that? Do I have the time to give them that? And it's difficult, but we must make changes. We need to think. And of course, for you as an individual, leave your children, you begin to drift into social isolation. What you used to do before, you cannot do. Your hobbies are far gone from you. Don't think it is just because you don't have time. It could be a sign of depression. If I define depression now, one of the main symptoms, two and then others. The first two, the things you used to do before, you no longer have interest to do them. Not only because you don't have time. Depression is creeping in. What is the prescription? Achieving balance. You have to. Okay, so let's talk. Experiences. 1 minute, 2 minutes. Do we agree that we are struggling with our work-life balance? So I've said many things. Who want to chip in something? We would all learn from your experience.
My workplace is such that I have to be on call, And the week that I'm on call is just messed up. It's like I'm constantly thinking, well, where's my phone? Where's my phone? Because it could ring. There could be something at work. They can make it's not like they can't make the decision, but they still want the responsibility to be on me. So I'm constantly, it's like you are not, the week is all messed up. Even though you are home, it's still messed up. So I can relate.
Thank you. Then let me ask you. Sorry, sir. Do you feel, any of us feel constantly tired? Are there times you come back from your 1 week shift or 3 days, nights or something, and you feel constantly tired? Just can't explain it. Right.
So just to add up to what she said, that on-call, she's not paid for it. But if you are called and you go to the workplace, then you are paid.
It's difficult.
My situation is I am living in the center of my job, and I'm on call 24/7. And like Sofmami said, I can, in some unnecessary thing, I get called for it. Rather, they can make their own decision. So always it looks like something is coming. Something is coming. So I have to make sure my phone is right with me, and then my intercom and things like that. Much pressure. Solution.
This Nigerian show going on, Big Brother. One of the contestants came in and he was shouting, "Pressure, pressure." That's the story. Yeah. But I'm sure we can do something about it. Both of you said the same thing. Even decisions they can make, they call. So when I work nights, I carry the blip, and then some blips that come from the nurses. Come on. Come on. You can sort this out. You can't have a discussion with a patient and then blip me. When I call you, you tell me, not urgent discussion. This is at night. Night is for emergencies, urgent things. Not urgent discussion. Maybe how they feel. And then you blip me, and then I pick and I call you back. You tell me, this is the discussion I had with the patient. That can I but you've told me now. So now that I know, can I also document? Come on, it's not my discussion. It's your discussion. Document and say you've spoken with me. And then you say, no, I must document. Unnecessary pressure. It's everywhere.
Thank you. I just want to add on that. I'm a HR profession in the medical space. And I want to just change the perspective in the room. You have to understand that these calls you're picking, this time that you're not spending, we will replace you should you drop down or have any type of medical condition. We will replace you within 24 hours. I can go and get any staff to come and do your job. So you always have to think, can they do their job without me? The answer is yes. Unless you are at the workplace, do it. If you're out of the workplace, you said something, mindset. Change and shift your mindset. Work is going to be there, okay? I am urging you because I have seen so many cases and I'm dealing with so many now. People are ill. The level of sickness and illness in the NHS, I sit in the board, and so I can tell you the number is so significant for medical practitioners, and I'm talking nurses, clinical, up to consultant level. You are replaceable. Think of yourself. Your well-being packages that you get at work and the wellness, use them and utilize them to the best of your ability. Okay, and I understand that there's a cultural aspect to this. This is trauma for us, okay? Why I'm saying that is because when you look at the Caucasian or the other races, they don't experience, they have their own trauma. It's not ours. We're all dealing with different types, but they have a way to manage. They'll take the holidays, they'll go away. You are still doing things at home that still require effort and strength, and psychologically you are still being affected. So you've not taken a break in real sense. I just wanted to add to that.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So that tells the story. We are replaceable. Of course, the work goes on, but you don't. So we've said several things. So I believe that's self-assessment. For those that didn't say something, of course, for time's sake, there is something. You know, if you've got a good work balance, fine. But then do you give that 3.5%, which is even not enough, to the kids for the next generation or for yourself? You know? So what do we do about it? What is the treatment plan? What is the action? We are here. We see these things a lot from the Brits, a lot. So we need to indulge in them. Like I said earlier, they go on holidays. I'll come there. Mindfulness and relaxation. Bible, the scripture even recommended rest. Of course, God rested. For us, it's difficult to understand the human body even with science. So you can imagine the effort. By the end of creating the world, he rested. Okay? You are not him. But you want to make ends meet. So you don't want to rest. But the ends, you know what it means? That ends can end you. So what do I do? Yoga, physical exercise, meditation, relaxations. These things help. Studies prove they help. I talked to the teenagers some time ago, and I encourage them. Things you don't do before, take one step. You don't have to do all now, but make that decision to start. One step. Take that step. If in the evenings, once a week, call a friend. Take a walk. Drop the handset. Leave social media. Connect. Share your stories with someone you trust. That's the first step. Physical activity. Now, one thing that reduces that high cortisol that over a long period causes a lot of medical problems, both physically and mentally, is exercise. It reduces it. It gives you that good feel effect. So there is another hormone that we call the feel-good hormone, endorphins. So when you exercise, a lot of it comes to our body, especially the ladies. Reverend said that ladies are complex for several reasons. Even God, when he created them, he knows that they are complex. But trust me as a man, you probably will not be able to go through what they go. With the hormones that go up and down, sometimes they don't even understand. But imagine now you do exercise in the morning. You have that feel-good effect. After work, before bedtime, it's a lot. Exercise helps. Now, okay, let's practicalize it. I know some of us play football maybe once a week. Try it. I used to go to the gym. I couldn't meet up, of course. I have to make ends meet. But I've tried to, of course, I'm saving my 20%. So that's gym fees. It's a lot. So I've tried to play football once a week. It's something I love to do. Reverend, I follow Chelsea. I just love football. So I try to play as well too. All right. Balanced diet. The food we eat. Look into it. It helps improve your energy and your mood. My wife loves suya. We don't have suya here around us, except the African places. Well, but then, if you know something you like, sometimes go out for it and get it and eat. For yourself. Sleep. Let me ask. How many hours of sleep? Okay. Who has a waking up alarm? I have one. Do you wake up when it tells you to wake up? You try your best to wake up when it tells you to wake up. You snooze a lot. Okay. But at least that snoozing period, the sleep is not even sweet anymore. So okay, let me ask you, for us that have wake-up alarm, do you go to bed at the same time every night? You do? Now that's where I'm going to. Thank you. So we have to be like them. Now, she's just one out of the breeds. We have to be like them. I asked that question because Some nights you go to sleep earlier, sometimes you go late, but you must wake up at the same time. So apparently you don't get good sleep. So not waking up alarm that is the best. The best is the going to bed alarm. It's discipline. Drop the phone. So we've heard several things. How it affects our health, physically, mentally, and otherwise. You've just heard that the work continues, but you don't. What else do you want to hear? So one of the simplest things to do. Yeah.
Really need to work as much as we do. If you look at the finances of the husband and you look at that of the wife, do you both need to be working 45 hours, 50 hours a week, both of you and the kids? Can't you reduce it? Like, literally, that's going to solve it, right? It's going to help you out, so reduce it. If not, it's not going to change.
That's why we're here, isn't it? You have to. I wouldn't come if it's just to deliver. You know? So I will use myself as an example. I'm not doing enough. Okay? Reverend, let me confess. So when we came, we put the kids into swimming. I work 1 week off, 1 week on. So my on week, the burden's on my wife. My off week, I take the burden. And then, of course, they try to play football as well in the morning. And I tell my wife, sorry, my on week, leave choir practice. It's the children. Why? You see, it was difficult for her because she loves to sing. But she realized. Now, it's difficult for her to even take them to football. The swimming she can understand. But the football, it's a lot of work for her. It's encouragement. It's their time. Give it to them. You had it when you were growing up. Don't be selfish. And God understands. It's them. He loves little children, sir. We have to do these things. What Minister Melissa said is the truth. Do you have to do all those things? And then, when the time comes for you to look back, did you actually have a life? Memories. We live for those memories. If not for us, for the children. I can tell my story my dad did for me. A lot. Non-stop. Am I giving that to the children? Why is it difficult? Where we are. So now, you don't leave the system to rule you. You have to make your own system for yourself. Thank you. I forgot you.
Well, talking for myself and think for others, we take a lot of responsibility back home. I think that's one of the things that affects us because we're taking care of ourselves and also we're taking care of family back home. So that's why sometimes we feel that we have to work. But it takes a while for us to change that mentality because I was quite guilty of that. So we have to learn to say no sometimes to our family back home. I think that's what puts a lot of pressure on people who are here, not necessarily because we want to be selfish, but we want to help also.
Thank you so much. So, saying no. Well, if you're not there, they will also suffer, isn't it? So the wisdom should start from you because they don't understand. So if you say no, you're helping their tomorrow. Because you might not be here to help them tomorrow. Sort it out. Trust me. Trust me. They sort it out. They sort it out. Okay? Thank you. So that's the next thing I have it there. Set boundaries. Learn to say no. Disconnect work after hours. Learn to say no. With wisdom. But if you start the ball, you kick the ball, let's start rolling. Eventually, everything falls in place. I say with wisdom, there are positions you take. You must now, when that call comes off hours, you must pick it. But when you begin to put the system in place, those people that know what to do but don't want to take responsibility, educate them. Thank you. He's left. Call a meeting. She's left as well. She would have helped. Teach. Your ability to delegate is another skill of a manager. And trust the people under you. Give them trust. Next time, when they do those things, encourage them. They will say, okay, now I have done it. It's good for them. It's good for you in the long run. So we can change those things that are now for ourselves, for our children, for the people back home. Learn to say no. Prioritize rest. Most of us see rest like as a luxury. It is not a luxury. It is an essential. You time. You have to develop a you time. The way you can tell your children, between now and now, don't come into my office. I'm in a meeting. Develop a you time. Between now and now is for me. When you start, your husband understands. They fall in place in time, that it is her time. Don't be isolated socially. Go out with your mates. Have that walking football if that is what you love to do. With time, your wife will understand. It might be difficult in the beginning. She will understand. Have a you time. Do you have a friend here that you can go out with? These people travel. I trust you, my wife, you, to go to Albania for the weekend. I trust nothing is going to happen. Find that time and go there. These people go there a lot. Let's not be left behind.
Sorry, just to add on what you're saying. I teach for the Lewisham Council, and when I'm teaching about caring for kids, there's one of that slot where it's called a full jar. What you're talking about, for us there, we call it a full jar. In other words, you are that jar full of water or full of that energy, full of that everything. And you're supposed to divide that jar of water with the so many cups that surround you. Your back home parents, your children, your husband, your job, everything. Those are the cups which have to be filled with this water that you have. So in other words, you're going to run empty at a certain point because everything you have in you, you're pouring it in these cups. And the time is going to run that you have nothing to pour. So there has to be a time when you refill the jar, when you make sure that it's a you time. What do you want to do most? I want to play football, like he's saying, go do it. Because by coming back after that football match, you're going to be filled up. Then you'll have the energy to look after your kids. You'll have the energy to balance your husband, to balance the prayer time. Some of us are leaders in church. You're supposed to arrange chairs, clean the carpet. All these things are supposed to be done by you. So you've got to be filled up before you do anything.
God bless you. God bless you, Mom. Right. Nothing to add to that. It's clear. Lastly, seek support. So I don't know how many of us have this pressure already that we can't even speak of for several reasons. We bottle it up. Of course, as men, the kids shouldn't see us. The wife shouldn't see us, that we're not meeting up. No. Reverend said women are complex. And he also said the men have emotions as well. The work continues. You wouldn't. Seek support. I'm sure wherever you work, there are the counseling sessions. You've got your GP you can reach out to. Talk to somebody if you need any help. If pressure is too much, talk to someone if you need help. In summary, work-life balance is not a luxury. It's a necessity for good health. And of course, that of your children. The prescription, achieving balance is a form of preventive medicine. So all of this discussion is to prevent you from falling ill, prevent your children from suffering, help your children to be like you, even better than you. Give them the culture they can't get. You are representing that culture. Give them those social norms that you got. Show them now. I'll come to you, please. Final call to action. In fact, your most valuable asset is your well-being. And the final call to action, encourage yourself and people around you, your members, your friends, okay, to start today, to make a change. That step, yeah, I think you want, oh, sorry.
Praise the Lord.
Hallelujah.
I also want to talk about areas of finance. Some people go to an extent of borrowing, helping people, and at the end of the day, they run into financial problem and it make them to work themselves to bone. Then some people, unnecessary thing that you don't need, at the end, they run inside problem. In the household of God, can we control ourselves when it comes to areas of our finance? Don't do more than your power. Don't show off. If you don't have, you don't have. If they call you from home and say something happened, you need money. If you don't have, let them know. If they don't want to, because though I have seen, this one is no story. When you don't cut your clothes according to your own size, the problem will be there. So we need to be careful also.
Thank you very much, ma'am. That's your ability to say no. You start now to say no. This has ended. Okay, so we're running out of time. We're already out of time, but one or two questions.
Mine is not a question, but I want to encourage, especially those of us from African, Asian, or Caribbean background. We have a background that tells us that we are strong. We've grown up we've seen a lot of trauma. We've seen so much around us that it builds us. It builds us mentally, it builds us psychologically. But then, trauma is something that always comes back at you. It always bites back. But we come to this country and we realize that we fall in line, and all of a sudden, the pressures become so much and we fall into depression. But you said something about get support. People from African, Asian, Caribbean, we find it so hard to even admit that we are in problem. Because we kind of want to be seen as strong. We want to be seen as having everything held together. But they are breaking apart. Let's come to that point where we admit we are breaking apart. We need the support to be able to. That kind of background where we think we are strong, trauma is a very, very, very nasty thing that it always bites back. So let's be conscious of ask for help. And let's not think, oh, we have to be tough, we have to be seen to be strong. It doesn't help anybody.
Thank you. Thank you so much. So, thank you so much. Yeah, I think there's someone there.
I only say a question. And the way I look at things, I think even we as Christians, when I ask this question, we may not want to answer it or answer it in a clever way. Now, for instance, I will use a man of God as an example. We have most of them doing their secular work, and at the same time, in the ministry. And combining the two together, they may be going through a lot, and they may not share their experiences with anyone. But in this situation, you know that they have the call of God. Is it possible for such people to say no, knowing full well that they are going to say no to God?
Thank you for your question. No. Let me talk. Wait. So back home, we did night vigil. Okay, you know how night vigil can go? All night. And then we retired around 5 a.m. Then a member went to the church, to the pastor. That few hours he wants to sleep before proper daybreak. Member went to him and said, complaint, spiritual complaint, in quotes. I can't sleep. Every night, there are vultures that come to my roof, and they are always conversing. Every night, they are conversing. I don't know what they're talking about. You don't know what. So that's where wisdom comes. So this is the no that the pastor said to that member. A simple question. This is me just talking. Of course, with their spiritual eyes, they might see more. But the time itself was poor. The pastor asked him, those vultures, as they are they talking about you? He said he doesn't know. So go and sleep. The pastor slept. So, of course, there are some directives that comes to them. You can't say no forever. God knows how to get you to do his thing, his work. Yeah? But then it's about the balance. They know when to address certain issues and when not to address. Of course, he's asking the ministers this question. And I'm telling you that you should know when and how to address these things. There are some things I can't say, but my wife knows, and probably she says I'm not as spiritual as she wants me to be. But there are some things I feel like that pastor. Are they talking about you? Go and sleep. You know, but of course there are things that we must take seriously. You can't run away from God all the time. You can't. Even if you say no today, you will do it eventually. That's how God works with us, isn't it? Thank you. Okay. You wanted to answer. Ask her, please. She raised. Oh, yeah, please go on. Sorry. Yeah.
What I wanted to just say is that perhaps sometimes, not everything, but sometimes we may be able to solve it, but we run to the pastor. I've done it lots of times when I go to the pastor, and actually, if I just took his advice maybe before and listened to him a bit better, I could have done it myself, but I was being like a bit of a baby, to be honest, even though I'm a grown-up. So I think sometimes we can solve it and use the wisdom, the revelation we've already got. We can even pray about it. Then when it's time, we can go to him or her, our spiritual guide.
Thank you. Thank you so much. So in essence, there are things we can do for the pastors as well. Now, before you speak, trust me, it's difficult for a man of God to come to you and tell you, please, take some responsibility off me. We don't want our pastors to come to us and do that to us, ask us to do that. Trust me. So, in essence, we should be proactive. We should be proactive in the house of God. We shouldn't allow them to beg for this. We should be proactive. This is for all of us, myself inclusive. There are some things you see, you know you can offer. Do it. Don't wait for them to come to you and ask you to do it. Please.
Okay. Most of us, I think, we are guilty of most of the things that have been mentioned here. We are self-neglecting as adults, but the focus is on the children. If we want to self-neglect, we can do that. But are we going to be able to look after the children? I work in social services, and anytime I mention to people that I'm a social worker, I see people running to me to say, oh, sorry, I've got an issue, especially most of us coming from Africa.
We'll come more.
As soon as I mention it, people come to me, and the main thing is, it's not just single mothers, both parents are working, and was countless of examples where they leave the children at home. A child under 14 shouldn't be left on their own. We get the 14-year-olds, the 12-year-olds to look after the younger siblings. A lot of children have been taken into care as a result of this because parents and the county lines, drug dealers are getting hold of these children. We are blessed. We are in church, and I believe that we are not part of this, but most Africans and Caribbeans and those of us who have traveled into this country, we leave our children. That is so critical. A lot of people do that, and children are really losing. They are missing out of even family life.
Yeah.
anything of that sort.
Yeah.
We have to ensure that our
Yeah.
children are with us. My children are grown up, but if they are not with me, I know. It's important. I want them to be near me.
Yeah.
Anytime they are out, I want
Yeah.
to know where they are.
Yeah.
It's important that we do that.
Thank
We
you.
shouldn't self-neglect.
Thank you so much. We should, thank you. In many ways, we are saying the same thing, right? So one very important thing for me that me too I'll take home is, must we work all these hours? So let's be practical. We need to buy a house. Before we left Africa, our plan is to buy a big house. When you come here, you see the reality. Or you still want to go ahead and buy a big house. You're going to pay for it, isn't it? You have to work hard. So your now becomes a sacrifice. Your future that you think you might enjoy will be getting the effects of the ripple effects of your decision today. And then when that big house comes, when you get old, your kids go in this culture. Of course, they must hustle. And then you're alone. You want to sell that big house to go into a smaller one you can manage, that your body can now manage. And then when you can't go upstairs, the OTPT comes to you and tell you have to change the house for you to be able to. Come on. There's no pressure.
I think that what I want to say is that a lot have been said today. A lot have been said today. Don't wait till tomorrow before you act. One of my brothers said something. He said, we fought so hard, worked so hard for money. Now we have the money. So what he was saying was that, so for instance, chocolate. Those of you who like chocolate. So he wanted to eat chocolate. He didn't eat chocolate. He wanted to fry egg and eat. He said, no, I'm saving for the future. Now he's got the money now. The doctors are telling him, don't eat egg. Don't eat chocolate because of warrior. And majority of us, I keep on telling people that it is good to copy. But when you are copying, copy wisely. In the sense that majority, when I tell this story, I don't know whether you've heard me say it before, majority of the people who used to be here from Africa, majority of them didn't come here legitimately. So there was a tendency they could be sent home. So they said, if we are going to be sent home, majority went home and they didn't have anywhere to sleep. So they said, we are here. So let's make sure we get something here back home so that when we are sent home, we will go and sleep there. Because they didn't have anywhere to go back home. You have what it takes to stay here. You have not bought a house here, but you've built a house back home. I know a man who built a house, bought a Jeep. He didn't have a bicycle here. He bought a Jeep, put it into the garage, said when he goes home, he will drive it. After a few years, they had to change the parts of the car because the car is getting rotten. They had to fuel the car. The house he bought, he didn't want to put anybody in it, rent it, because he didn't know when he would go back home. Now he's paying people to stay in the house. He's paying electricity bill for that house. And he's staying in the single room. And that man, surprisingly, he died in a single room. And the money we found in that room, you will not believe he had that money and stayed the life he lived. So I'm begging all of us. I want you to enjoy. I'm happy there is a 30% for the now and the 20%. Look at how the ratio is. 20% for the future and 30% for the now. Some of you are doing 10% for the now and 20% for the future. It is not possible. Enjoy yourself. Majority of you are not taking care of the people you love. The last thing I will say is that majority of us, members, as pastors, we find it difficult telling you our story. And sometimes it looks like when we tell our story, it looks like we want to beg you to show us kindness. I've been told from some of the lessons I've learned that a pastor who pretend like he wants money from his people, when I say pretend for lack of vocabulary, or the pastor who shows that he wants money or support from his members, they don't give him. But the people who behave like they don't want, they get it. and majority of you, there is so much you can do for your pastors, your leaders, that will make their life very easy. If you can't do much, you can't buy him a car, don't worry. You can't do this, don't worry. I ask people, and people, I know when I sow seed and bless people, they will be blessed. I said, for the week, how much fuel do you use? Pastor, I want to buy you the fuel you use for the week. By virtue of that, if you do that for the pastor, for 1 week, he will take his mind off driving. When he's driving somewhere, he will not even bothering. You can't buy that fuel. Don't worry. Pastor, how many weeks do you, in a month, how many weeks do you trim your hair? How many times do you trim your hair? How much does it cost? It costs 30 pounds, 20 pounds. I can't do the two. I can do one. Do you know the relief he get when he sit down on the chair to trim his hair? That this one, I'm not the one paying. How many times do you wash your car, Pastor, in a week? I do it twice a month. Don't worry. Car wash is 20 pounds. If that is what you can do, just do it. Whatever you can do. A lot of the pastors are falling and sinning, not because we want to, but stress and pressure. Our children need good pastors, but they will have to see a good one before they will become one. But if they don't see the good ones, they will become corrupt, because that is what they saw. Thank you so much.
Amen. Amen.
Thank you, sir.
Great. Can I say one more thing before we close? It's very good for us to receive a practical lesson like that. One thing I'm always say to one of the pastors here that as a Christian or churches, we have some practical things that especially we need to teach the members, but sometimes we ignore those things and always going to be spiritual side. Spiritual side is good. We pray, we fast, but things sometimes we need to press it on. How everyone should manage even his finances, how you should manage your time. We need to press this thing on so that it can bring transformation in the entire church. Because a lot of people, I'm always saying to a lot of guys that if you will go to our wardrobe, sometimes our clothes, if you will give ourselves a year, we are not going to wear it. But we keep on holding all these things. A lot of people need to be blessed. Sometimes we got a shoot more than enough, especially our wives or our children or ourselves. We got a lot of stuff that we keep on holding on. Some people we can bless people, and as we are blessed people, we also continue to be blessed. All these things that we need to order, always taught or teach us so that our life will never be the same. And as our mom said, sometimes a lot of budget that we make is unnecessary. We get things that we are not using it. We need to always be mindful of those things. And pastors and churches need to stand and teach this, press it on so that it would bring a transformation to the entire church.
Thank you so much. God bless us. God bless us. And I pray God gives us the grace, the strength, even more knowledge, of course, in these aspects as well, to be able to navigate our now for our tomorrow and for our kids. In Jesus' name.
That's right. Excellent job.